Ready? Welcome! Thanks for joining us. Soaring with Service. Ready? 1, 2. Thanks for doing your hours. Woo!
You ready for a good show?
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to be celebrating you. And we are going to kick off today with a welcome from our Director of Community Engagement. So get ready. Thank you.
Service learning has been a fundamental piece of the FGC experience from the very beginning. Why is it so important? Well, we know that service learning strongly enhances a student's education by providing real-world experience of the knowledge that you're gaining in the classroom. We also know that service learning helps students more quickly explore and decide on a field of study while giving great experiences to help you get the best job after graduation. And it allows us as Eagles to make a positive impact in our greater community. Because of all of this, we created an event to pause and celebrate this important piece of who we are, called Soaring with Service. This is a new opportunity starting this fall, taking place October 1st, for us to pause and recognize the amazing impact of FGCU's commitment to service learning. This event will be a virtual moment to recognize all students who have already completed their service learning requirements and tracked those hours in Eagle Career Link. Everyone is invited to log on and attend. However, only the students who have met their service learning requirement will receive a commemorative shirt to wear, and special recognition will be given to the top students engaged in service from each class. We especially look forward to recognizing those high-achieving underclass students who have already completed their service learning graduation requirements. If you haven't tracked your hours yet, but you want to be recognized and get a special shirt, don't worry, you still have time. Be sure to track your hours in Eagle Career Link by September 14th to be considered for this semester's recognition. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us at servicelearning@fgcu.edu. We look forward to this special event and this moment to honor the amazing ways you serve our community through service learning. Thanks, and go Eagles.
Welcome.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Thanks so much. So my name is Jessi Drummond. I am the coordinator for the Office of Service Learning and Civic Engagement. And just like you heard from our Director of Community Engagement, Justin Fitzgerald, today is a day for you. We want to celebrate your service. We want to celebrate the accomplishments that you have. And we really want to promote this community that we've created here around service, engaging our community and really giving back. So what we're going to move to now is we have recorded an incredible conversation with alumni, current students, community members, talking about their service, talking about why it's impactful, how it's impacted them. I really hope you enjoy it. It was a fantastic conversation with him, and I really look forward to what you think. So we are here if you ever need anything, and thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to share my screen and get this going.
Well, hello and welcome to Soaring with Service Fall 2020. We are so excited to have you here with our speaker panel. My name is Justin Fitzgerald, and I get to serve as the Director of the Office of Service Learning and Civic Engagement. And here with me as my co-host is Jessi Drummond, coordinator in the office. And we are just so excited to have a conversation with these 5 great individuals who really showcase what service learning is and the impact that it has on not only your life, but our communities that we live in every day all around us. And so really to get us started, we're going to start with some introductions here and let you just get a little teeny taste of who everybody is and what you're going to hear over the next hour and a half. So to get us started, Dakendo, why don't you take it away?
Justin, thank you so much. Hello, community partners, students, staff, everyone. My name is Dakendo Michel, aka Mr. 1234.5, and that's just because I completed over 1,000 hours of community service and service learning back in the days. Man, I feel old. I currently work as an educational talent search coordinator at Florida Gulf Coast University. Loved it. I loved college so much that I stayed. I'm still involved in the community, whether it be on a weekend or just whenever. Just know that I'm still continuously doing service. I love FGCU. I'm a father. My daughter does community service. So I'm just already diving in this panel and answering any questions that you all may have. So thank you for the introduction.
Hi, everyone. My name is Roberto Garcia, and I first started at FGCU as a student many years ago. During that time, I first completed service learning hours in my Foundations of Civic Engagement class, which was taught by Miles Mancini, who still teaches here. I eventually completed most of my service learning hours as his teaching assistant in his courses, many different courses. And after graduating, Dr. Maria Rocca was like, hey, you should check out AmeriCorps. So I did, and I applied, I got accepted, I joined the program, and I completed over 1,700 hours of service in Southwest Florida, focusing primarily on food insecurity. And then after that, I earned my master's in media culture and communication from NYU. And after that, I came down here back to Southwest Florida. I became an instructor at FGCU with the Department of Integrated Studies, and all my solo talk classes now incorporate service learning. So I'm really excited to be here with you all, and I'm going to toss things over to Dieon.
Awesome, thanks. I'm Delon Jones, and I went to FGCU and graduated in 2013. Much like Roberto, I did a lot of my service learning with food insecurity, and that really kicked me off on a trajectory and just revolving around food. I graduated and hopped into working in food banks, the farms, got my master's degree at University of Oregon in environmental studies, but mostly food studies, and I'm currently in New York. Just finished up working at one of the best farm to table restaurants around. So it's been kind of a pretty crazy journey, but it all started with Jessica Ray and civic engagement, sitting in class trying to figure out a project before the end of the semester. But really excited to get to be around some really incredible individuals and to talk to you as well.
Hi, I'm Autumn Crosley. I'm a senior here at FGCU, so I'm a student still. I'm majoring in political science and then minoring in Spanish and peace and social justice. I'm a treasurer in FGCU Student Farm Worker Alliance and treasurer of Students Impacting Students. And then I did an internship with Streets Alive and a professor here, Professor Marcolini here at FGCU, that focused on road safety. It was really cool. I'm also a senator in student government, and I do a couple other things, but that's where I'm going to stop and pass it on to the next person.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Chantel Rhodes, and I am a university liaison at the Quality Life Center in Fort Myers. It's a center it's an after-school program that's basically committed to enhancing the lives of the youth in that particular community. I got my undergraduate degree from the University of South Florida in criminology. I went on to get my graduate degree from Georgia State University in social work. So I am not a student with FGCU, but through the Quality Life Center, I was able to participate and form a very strong partnership with FGCU, one that I'm very excited about. During my time at Georgia State, I was a graduate assistant in the Civic Engagement Department. So that is where I really became active and serious about service and getting involved in our community. One of the most significant projects that I had an opportunity to lead undergraduate students on was a refugee project. We hosted families that were coming from Aleppo in Syria, and we were able to help them resettle here in America, which, you know, of course, can be very tough. So even though we were working with people abroad, I think it brought us all closer together, and it just strengthened who I was as an individual. So I'm all about service, and I'm happy to be connected to FGCU.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm sure all of our viewers can see that over our time period here, we're going to have a lot of great content. You know, our students are required to do service learning in order to graduate, but what we are showcasing here in each one of you is that it's not a requirement, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to do so much for yourself and your development, and an opportunity to do so much for the community. So we're just excited to talk with you, and Jessi's going to get us started with our first question.
Yeah, so I want to thank you all again for being here. I'm so excited for this panel. They all have their rich experience, really. So I'm excited to dive into it. The first thing I'd like to ask you all, and bounce back with each other, talk about this as a team, but what was the most valuable thing you gained from your service?
I'll go ahead and start. One of the most valuable things that I believe that I gained from service was the sense of healing. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but one of the things that helps me the most is taking my focus off of my own life, off of my own issues, however major or minor they may seem, and putting that into helping others. And through helping others, I was able to gain a new strength for myself, a new identity for myself and those who I am closest to. So a sense of healing and just restoration that comes mainly through helping others.
Chantel, I'm going to kind of bounce off on you. So yes, the sense of healing is amazing, but for me, what I got out of it was, it's okay to put a Band-Aid on the issue. We can't fix everyone's problems. We can't fix every issue, but it's okay to put a bandage. And when I say that, I mean, for example, Thanksgiving comes out every year, but it's okay to go out and give to others, give those turkeys away, give those vouchers away. So for me, it's knowing that I'm big enough to assist, and I'm allowed to put a bandage on the issue, and that I'm not going to be able to solve everyone's problem overnight. And that's something that I had to internalize and deal with for many years, but now I'm okay with at least knowing that, like, I'm doing enough.
Yeah, to jump in, provide another perspective. For me, it was really knowledge. I gained so much knowledge through my service experiences. And it really came through three facets, I would say. It's like knowledge itself. I learned so much about myself, my passions, my strengths, my skills. I learned, local knowledge. I learned so much about the issues affecting Southwest Florida, which I wasn't really aware of beforehand. And then also just global knowledge, knowing that these issues, while they may be impacting us specifically here, it's not just a local issue. It's something that is affecting other people at different parts of the world, maybe in other areas in Florida or just other countries. So for me, it was definitely knowledge. That was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that because I would say that I gained a lot from my service, like a lot. I gained knowledge, I gained opportunities, I gained new relationships, new passions. And I would say the most important thing for me though would be the knowledge, just because having new information and having the knowledge from interacting with people and doing work and like learning about things I didn't know, it increased empathy in me. And that empathy drives me to do work and continue to do work. And it also gave me more insight into the systems and institutions that we have in our world, and what might be problematic parts within that we need to figure out the root causes of and do work to fix those issues. But I would say the biggest thing is the knowledge, because that's made me an empathetic person who cares.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I was just
on
gonna
this
say,
knowledge train because I think as much as
sorry. I was just gonna say that I'm already an empathetic person, but like that's further. That's all I was gonna finish up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think at least from a personal perspective, obviously the food bit has been like, I think continues to be an undercurrent, but I think doing a lot of service prior to that actually got me down this rabbit hole and learning what I appreciated. And much like Dakendo said, like you can put a Band-Aid on something, but I don't necessarily I never felt compelled to like solve a problem that I didn't really feel that passionate about. Maybe that's just not my calling. But through service, you kind of get the taste of this field and that field. And if I want more of this, then I can find other ways to dive more deeply into that. So yeah, it's just like amazing kind of opportunities, knowledge, that's not letting the great of solving a problem more holistically get in the way of good, both personally and as a community.
Those are great points, great thoughts. Dieon, I love what you said about, kind of going down the rabbit hole and, you start with one thing and then it leads to something else and it leads to something else. Both, from what I've seen, both in the content, but also in how far you want to go. You may start by thinking that you are just going to do this simple little project, and then all of a sudden you wake up in 4 years and it's become something much different. And I see Dakendo shaking his head as well. I'd love to hear, Dieon, if you want to circle back to your experience of where you saw, where did you start, and then where did that rabbit hole take you a little bit? And Dakendo, I saw you shaking your head too. So if you guys want to share, Dieon, you want to start, and then we'll go to Dakendo.
For sure. It's funny because Roberto's comment about like food insecurity in Southwest Florida. It was actually this article I saw just about like school lunch programs being a difficulty during the summertime because we're used to having like a solid 1-2 meals a day, but I never thought that summertime hits and you don't have those options. So this news article led to a food drive that I did because I came across this article relatively close to move out time, and no one necessarily wanted to move home with food. So all this food is getting tossed away, and I'm like, I just saw this article, like we should just connect these two things. And then I don't know, it's easy to dive a bit deeper into something once you can kind of see a link that's there. So I think that was really, I guess the first shovel full of dirt that I'm still digging into this rabbit hole of sorts.
Dakendo, for you, where did it start, and then where did it take you?
So for me, initially when I came to FGCU, I was a transfer student. So I met with Kelsey Wilkinson and Lisa Page and Jay Ray. And I was just looking for work, like I'm a hungry college student. I just want to eat. I just want to work a little bit. So I started off using all of my work study funds, and I was a tutor out at Gulf Coast Elementary for their AVID program, Miss Broussard. I exhausted all of my work study funds. And then Kelsey Wilkinson was like, well, Miss Kelsey, I still call her till this day. Miss Kelsey was like, well, this is service ambassador program. You would be a good fit. And I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, this isn't me. But you know what? I said, you know what? I'll do it. And then I met Madeline Heath, who was actually my co-ambassador. We started this program called the Eagles Inspire program, which still goes on till this day. So for us, it started off something real small. You know what? We're going to bring in students from the Boys and Girls Club to visit campus. They've never been on campus. And next thing you know, we're getting graduation stoles and taking pictures. And President Martin is speaking, guest speakers, and you have students from FGC community that want to come out and mentor. And we built these long-lasting relationships. And I thought it was just going to be something that I'm just doing for a semester, a couple of hours. But till this day, to see, 7 years later, that program is still thriving is like unreal for me. Still unreal.
That's a great rabbit hole. I love that. All right. Well, thank you, guys. I think I want to jump in with our next big question here, kind of turning our attention to the benefit that service can have for you as someone doing the service. Do you think that service has benefited your career or your coursework? And if so, how?
So, sorry if I cut anybody off. I was just gonna say, like, I am still a student, so I don't have a career yet, but it has changed it's just given me a direction for what I want to do afterwards. And it's made, well, first of all, for my coursework, it's made me more passionate about what I do because I pick topics or write about things or am more interested in reading certain things. Sorry, I heard a door squeak. Anyway, so I'm more passionate about my coursework in certain ways, so I don't procrastinate as much. So I get better grades, so it's helped in that way. But for my career, I think it's given me confidence because I now want to be a lawyer. And before, I never saw that as something that I could do. I didn't think it was logical enough or smart enough. I was like, wow, that's so hard. But it's my service, the service projects that I've done have given me experience and knowledge. They've made me feel more accomplished. And they've also helped me realize that some of the mindsets I had are problematic and from problematic places in society too. So I have a lot more confidence and I feel like I could be a lawyer now and study to go to law school. So it's definitely benefited me and it's given me a direction.
And I'll jump in there. Autumn used two words. She used the word confidence and she used the word empathy. And from service, how it's benefited me in my career path, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a social worker. So we learn all of this stuff in theory and in textbooks, but it was the actual service that gave me the confidence to pursue leadership. And through leadership, I'm able to pass on that message of service to other people. So I think it definitely increased my empathy as well, because you read about things, read about scenarios, you read, oh, this is best practice for this situation and this group of people. But it's not until you're actually in those situations that you actually see, wow, their stories are so unique. This can be complicated, this can be intricate, and it teaches you how to move skillfully and navigate those circumstances. So beyond the textbooks, beyond what a job may require of you, that additional service will do nothing but help you become a better leader. That's what it's done for me in my career path.
I guess I'll jump in here. So yeah, I think service has 100% benefited my career. I mean, I think I'm a better teacher because of the service that I've done throughout my time. I would not be as informed about local issues, nor do I think I would care about them had I not, been directly involved within the community. And I've seen my students, I mean, they get jobs from their service. They do such a great job. They impress the people that they're working directly with, that they end up getting jobs right afterwards. So I know that service has the potential to endlessly benefit future or current careers. So I can't speak highly enough of actually completing a project that you feel passionate about. You're gonna be so excited, and that excitement's gonna reflect on the people that you're working with. And yeah, I just do it.
Roberto, can I just jump in on what you said and doing something that you're passionate about? What would you say to students though who say, I don't know what I'm passionate about, or like I don't know if I even am passionate about something?
I would say, come to my office hours. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a chat. Let's look through the SDGs. Tell me your story. Tell me where you began. Tell me your struggles, and let's find something that lines up with that. And let's make sure we get these hours completed.
Excellent.
I just wanted to jump back to what Autumn and Chantel were talking about with confidence and empathy. I love that you brought those as like the things that they can occur at the same time, because for me, oftentimes I see confidence as really self-centered, like I believe in myself and I'm confident and doing X, Y, and Z. But to be able to have that mindset, but then direct that confidence towards other people and for other people is really amazing. I think there's like a steep jump from like self-confidence to outward confidence. And I believe that like your experience in service such as that. At least from a side note for me, service and career work, in short, it has literally made my career. So, and it'll probably inform the rest of my career decisions after this. But yeah, the note about like, I don't know what I'm passionate about, that's so true. I was that student up until like my senior year. So yeah, it's normal, but it's also really informative. And it really can be.
Thanks, Dan.
I might just want to jump off of what Dieon said with regards to like not knowing what you're passionate about. I was also someone who was undecided. I was like doing psychology for a while, but it wasn't until I actually started my service learning experiences that I was like, okay, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. And now I get to do what I love to do. And sometimes, you know, the cliche of it doesn't feel like work. Yeah, it's work, but I enjoy the work I get to do. So yeah, service learning, do it.
Roberto, I love that's your closeout for every comment is do it. Service learning, do it. Love it. Anybody else have comments or thoughts on how service has connected or has influenced your career or coursework?
So actually, last semester, I actually got to co-teach with Jessica Ray, the Foundation of Civic Engagement class. And just to kind of like go back in time almost and see, like, I could see some of myself in those students, but we also had some stubborn ones. So just like Roberto said, hopefully Nike doesn't sue us, but yes, just do it. Go out, meet those people, join those groups, do it, have fun. Like, but what I got from it was basically like, I want to go into teaching one day, and just to see how like, not only did that class give me an opportunity to do service, but I also got the chance to also sharpen up my teaching skills as well. So I enjoyed the experience. And by the time the students finished, it felt like they completed over 20 to 30 hours. And at first they were thinking like, we're just gonna go out and do this for, you know, a day. I'm gonna knock it out. But then at the end, when you're reading the letters to their community partners, you know, they're making that pledge that like, hey, I'm going to come back, I'm going to consistently do this for you, or whether it's making a monetary donation, just to kind of see how their minds flip and switch gears was amazing. So that was cool.
I love that we're seeing in your guys' comments, we're seeing kind of the two scenarios that we say service learning helps with so much for personal development, especially during the college years, is you know, someone who doesn't know what they want to do or doesn't know what they should do or what they're passionate about, and how service can help you hone in on that. And then on the reverse, students who think they really know what they want to do, service is that perfect chance to test it out a little. So like Dakendo and teaching, it's like, let me do this in an uncommitted, you know, you're not committed for years to teaching, you're just going to try it for a semester and see how that goes, and you get your service learning hours in, and you're committed, you're developing other people, and you're working to really give to those people that are in the class. And at the same time, you're figuring out, is this something I really want to do or not? And we have a lot of stories for sure of students who have done that and realized, you know what, I don't like teaching, or you know, they do it in an elementary school and they're like, I don't want to spend all day, every day with little kids. So it's great to see all the kind of spectrums of the different situations.
Yeah, and I mean, for like my own personal life, like service is what got me my job right out of college, and like what, you know, led me back here. But I think something that I love that almost every comment that we talk about goes back to the social issues that we care so deeply about. Like, what are those things that are happening in the community that you're connecting to? And is that, I love that we've seen that it's come from like almost being inspired by other people, right? We have these like, you know, folks in our life that inspire us and give the confidence in us to like want to go out and do something in that social issue. Or it's just like, you know, I read something about something and then decided to go out and make an impact. And so one of the things that we're using at the university is the Sustainable Development Goals. It was created by the United Nations, and it's like a holistic, integrated way of looking at sustainability. So it has things, everything from no poverty to decent work and economic growth, to good health, well-being, to gender equality, to climate action, right? To life on land, life below water, reduced inequalities. And so it's a really great way to think about holistically, like where are the social issues and things that you care about from from a global aspect, but also, then how can you take that and look at the local issues? And that's what we're hearing a lot today, are local issues. But luckily, no matter who hears this, no matter where you're at, no matter what location, you can really think about those sustainable development goals in terms of, what are you passionate about? What do you care about? And so something I kind of want to ask is what sustainable development goal or social issue, go either way, do you align most with? And what do you think needs to change systematically to make that better? I know it's a big question, but I kind of want to hear what's that passion area and what do you think really needs to happen in that too?
Hello. So I was looking at the sustainable development goals, and there's one that is sustainable cities and communities. And so I'm choosing that one because, for a lot of reasons, but I also feel like I'm slightly cheating the system because sustainable community and the sustainable could encompass all of those principles, and community could encompass every group, every issue in the world. So anyway, I like all of them, but I would choose sustainable cities and communities. And when I was reading it, it talked about inclusivity. And so if I would choose any goal, I would choose that one. And I really think a key to solving issues in society is being inclusive, and incorporating inclusivity into everything we do. And I think first and foremost, so we have to educate people about issues that are going on in society, especially people privileged enough to not experience those issues and not know what's going on. And then secondly, people who are marginalized by those issues in society, they know their situation best. They know what they're going through. So they would know what solutions would best address those issues. And so, sorry, I'm thinking back to the class I had last year. I'm getting a lot of this from that, but they would know the solution that would best address and completely address the issue at hand. So we need to prioritize those solutions and then implement them. So we need to amplify the voices of people who are marginalized. And so I think that would really solve systemic issues, because if we don't amplify the voices that are being hurt by the systemic issues and those solutions, then it's going to continue to make victims. The system will continue to make victims. So, yeah.
I know, what class was that, Autumn? Because I think everyone should know what class that was.
It was The Move with Professor AJ, or Aaron Munoz-Aller. Oh, that's his full name, sorry. It was a really cool class. It was focused on civic engagement. It was awesome. I loved it.
Big plug for that class.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'm going to jump in. First, I want to say that they're all super important. All the goals are super important, and I could probably make a really good case for any one of them. But at the same time, I would be lying if I didn't say that I felt probably the most passionate for the 5th Sustainable Development Goal, which is gender equality. I feel very strongly towards that, especially as a man in this society. I can't honestly say that this world wasn't made by, made for, and centered around men. It's very androcentric in that way. So I think, the ways in which that we could try to rectify these issues is by informing individuals, by, acknowledging that it is an issue. It's not just something that's out there, something abstract that some people talk about. That is something that we need to, acknowledge the history, recognize that it is a valid problem, and do the important work to try to rectify it.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Chantel.
All right, thank you so much. I'll go next. Again, they are all extremely important. Two of the ones that stick out to me are good health and well-being and quality education. During my time at Quality Life Center, one of the things that I, as the university liaison, I had an opportunity to reinforce to many FGCU students is the need for good health and well-being, especially as we take a deeper look into the African American community. So one of the things that I love about the Q, and we reinforce this again, with all of our volunteers, all of our student learners, is that when you look at the disparities the African American community face in terms of health, whether it's caused by food desert, whether it's caused by poor choices. Mr. Muhammad, who is our executive director, he looked at our community and he said, okay, I want to do something about this. So the Quality Life Center, with the help of FGCU School of Business, was able to come up with a cafeteria. And in this cafeteria, the Quality Life Center is positioned perfectly in a neighborhood that would normally look at a vegan pizza and is like, no, what is this? I don't want this. Or, but it introduced different food groups and it made it fun. So we, FGCU students, were helping us come up with cauliflower pizza and different recipes that will help us to address what we know is a health crisis that contributes to hypertension and diabetes, obesity. And every week at the Quality Life Center, at least before COVID-19 came about and changed everything, we would feature fresh fruit and vegetables. We had local farmers come in. And when parents came in to pick up their students, they had the opportunity to purchase at a discounted rate all of these wonderful fruits and vegetables and fresh food. So I do believe that's a way, it's a start to create sustainability of good health and well-being. Also, we had a yoga program at the Q. Again, that community was unfamiliar with yoga and all of the benefits of it. In Quality Life Center, they have the students meditate. So we have at any given point FGCU students in there meditating with the students, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. And what goes along with that is quality education. So the Q is a after-school program, like I mentioned, and it's meant to supplement what these students do not get during the day. So the model at the Q is demystifying the world for children. Many of these children will not get an opportunity. They don't have wealth to the point where they can just say, okay, this summer we're going to travel to Europe and learn all of the amazing things that traveling abroad can teach us. But what the Q does is it looks for those areas where lower socioeconomic background, the students from those homes can say, you know what, I feel confident because the Q kind of helps supplement some of my education. And then also what we should do to help improve that is just to continue to challenge policies that are enacted by our school systems, by our school board that may hinder or may push inequalities when it comes to education. We need to hold them accountable, and that's the way to sustain that.
So perfect, like that kind of goes into my segue. Mine is also quality education. I read this book, The Promise of a Pencil by Adam Braun. He talks about knowing your purpose. So knowing my purpose, like I know for sure, like as a first generation, immigrant here coming from Haiti, like I knew the importance of education. Like we had to pay to go to school. So quality of education is definitely important to me just because when I was looking at the model and stuff like that, it said over 200 million students would be out of school by 2030. To me, that's kind of like, there's a school on every block. It feels like there's a school on every block here, which is just crazy to me. But we know that every student doesn't know the importance of FAFSA. We know that every student doesn't get the same opportunity, whether it be dual enrollment or even starting BPK or pre-K early. So quality of education, it goes back. You can chop it, slice it however you want. We all know that when it's time for cuts, education is one of the first things to go. So just as you mentioned, challenging policy, advocating, showing up to those meetings, going to school board meetings, we're paying, we basically pay these taxes for that reason. So we need to continue to advocate. So like, of course, the TRIO program is going to love this. So shout out to my program for continuing to help first generation and low-income students continue to go to school knowing about FAFSA. I know for me, I participated in a program called the Upper Bound Program. And like, it's one thing to say, go to school, but I didn't know what the registrar's office was. I didn't know what the syllabus was. I didn't know what, all that crazy terminology that as a student, it could be kind of intimidating if you have somebody basically holding your hand and walking you through the process. So quality of education, even in the United States, still needs to be changed and modified and enhanced.
Great comments, all about those SDGs and social issues and how we tackle those things. And I think you guys gave some great tips on, systematically what changes we could see and where we go from there. And one of the things that we try to work with our students on, as you guys know, and as we're continuing to try to improve our methods, is how to then take those big concepts of, systematically we know this needs to change, or we learn in class, you know, like Autumn was talking about, or Roberto mentioned those kind of big classroom concepts and big classroom discussions. And then how do you focus that down into like, okay, well, Saturday morning, I've got 3 hours free. Well, how do I connect Saturday morning to this massive concept? And so, you know, one of our next questions for you may just help connect the pieces a little bit of, you know, what, and we talked about how service learning and community engagement got you to where you're at. How does service now play a role in your life as you think about these big things that we want to work on and address? How does service in your life right now play a role in connecting dot from A to B? And where does it go from here for you?
Before we jump into that though, Dieon, do you want to answer the last one?
Oh, sorry, did I leave Dieon? Sorry, Dieon.
It's totally fine. I mean, I'm also happy to jump into the next topic as well.
Yeah, take both of them. You get both.
I'll just be really efficient. So I guess jumping back to the idea of reducing inequality, reducing inequality seems interesting to me. I think the term reducing inequality also applies to a bunch of like gender equality and like other forms of equality up and down that list in a society as a whole. But I think for me, it's just like a socioeconomic perspective. And so I've worked on both ends of the food spectrum, whether it was like very much in the hunger realm and operating from food banks and being in that space to the restaurant I was working at, it was like the top 1%. Like in terms of like just to eat at that restaurant was incredibly expensive. And I think just the conversations and disparity, not just financially, but from like life experience and education and even just things that are spoken of, it's all of those experiences that unfortunately just like come back to having the financial or like economic means to experience those things. Whether it's having the means to have schools that are funded, public schools, private schools, things like that. Like that's my wheelhouse, but oh no. Am I alive? I'm good. Okay. Okay. So just like hunger is my wheelhouse, but like being able to view like even behind that and kind of the wave behind it is just kind of socioeconomic disparities. I guess very quickly for how it's going to play a role in my life, like service and civic engagement, I think honestly I will continue to do it, but I think I want to be more of a voice of encouraging people to fail and to like try new things and to mess up. And it's okay to just royally fail at something, because I think that hesitation really is, it can be a detriment to me, whether it's like I wanted to apply to something or even an Autumn's position. Like I remember just writing papers and just editing things in my head before I even wrote a sentence down. Like, oh, the sentence isn't good enough, so I'm not even going to put the effort in to type it out. And that same thing can be viewed for service and civic engagement and career. So I think just kind of being a person to say, if someone messes up and it's under my watch or purview, or I'm leading civic engagement, that telling them that it's okay that they might have overwatered a plant that really hates water. Because they'll never overwater something again, and letting them know that it's going to be okay.
I would say for me, another question was how do you apply it every day? So I have a little one, but I'm sure some of you all may have younger siblings or cousins or nieces and nephews, but it's always a question like, why? So for example, the other day we're at the park and there's like a McDonald's wrapper on the floor, and Lauren asked me, Daddy, why is that on the floor? And I'm thinking like, to myself, like, why is that on the floor? And we pick it up and throw it away. So unconsciously, like, it's like, oh my gosh, like, we're doing like a roadside cleanup almost, like cleaning up the park. So for me, like it starts with one. It starts with you, and then you educate another person about the importance of whatever you like or things that you believe in. So she's with me everywhere. So sometimes Make a Difference Day, I'll bring out my little sister and we'll go do service. So it starts with one, but then you educate somebody else. And one turns to two, two turns to four, and you all get the concept.
Okay, one of the ways that I see service and civic engagement playing out in my life right now, here locally in Southwest Florida, we've been protesting a lot in light of the George Floyd death and the Black Lives Matter movement. We've been protesting, and one of the questions that people ask me all the time is that, okay, once you're done protesting, what happens next? And the answer is service, basically, in so many words, because in order to disrupt a lot of these systems, it requires a lot of sacrifice in terms of spending less time on social media and more time researching the issues that are going on locally in your community as it relates to police brutality or whatever the issue may be. It looks like committing yourself to encouraging people, walking around neighborhoods, encouraging people to vote. It's service in so many different forms, whether you're a researcher, whether you want to be boots on the ground and actually knocking on doors saying, hey guys, let's get energized around voting because this is our right, this is our power, this is how we're going to make changes in our community. So yeah, I am practicing service even right now, and that's the only way to really see change. And that's the message that I tell others as well.
I'm going to jump in. So as an FGCU Eagle, I feel like service and civic engagement is not only in my blood, it is my blood at this point. So I'm constantly trying to remain educated. So I have a different podcast I listen to every day that informs me about different issues that are either happening in our country, around the globe, or to specific populations, because I may not have that perspective. I may not be in those experiences, experiencing those experiences. So I try my best to remain educated. And being a part of the society requires more than just being a member, right? It means giving back, getting informed, going the extra mile. At this point, I cannot see a future in which I'm not, contributing to or fighting or trying to help any sort of thing that I feel is right, which should be currently happening. So whether that is voting, as Chantel mentioned, volunteering, or giving a few bucks to an organization that's doing meaningful work, I feel like service and civic engagement is going to always play such a huge role in my life.
I love that, Roberto, because we talk in our office with students all the time about the active citizen continuum and moving from being a member into this volunteer role, and then even into conscientious citizenship, where you're really diving into the thought and knowledge base behind these issues. And so, I think people have a tendency to think of reading articles, whether it be online or in print, or listening to a podcast or something like that, as not all that community engaged, because it's somewhat singular. You're reading on your own. You're on your own time. You're earbuds and isolated from the world, and you're just listening to your podcast. But it's so important, and it's such an important piece of the community engagement process and the active citizen continuum. So I'm glad you said that. It's really great.
Yeah, I feel like one of the ways in which I tell my students all the time in my civic engagement class, we typically open up with current events, because one of the easiest ways to remain civically engaged is to remain aware of what's happening in our society. What are the injustices going on? What are the good parts going on too? I try to highlight a positive story after we round out all the negative stuff that's happening, because there are people out there making changes. There are people out there doing the work that should be highlighted, because it's too easy to feel overly pessimistic about everything in the future and whatever it may be. And you have to highlight those good stories at the same time, because if not, it's not a fun time to be on this planet if you're just looking at all the negative stuff.
Yeah. I have to say, so Shalyn Sims, our program assistant for the office, her and I were in a presentation last night, and they were talking about like servant leadership, right? And they were like, you can't be a servant leader without thinking that your glass is half full. So if you go around thinking that it's half empty, right, you're already starting off thinking that like that movement is not moving forward, or you can't do something. So I think that like optimism and understanding and like not being boggled down by all the information that you're learning, but by using that as a tool to go out and talk to others about that, or to try to find things deeper. And like Chantel, I think what you hit on is so important of like, after you go out and serve, after you go out and protest, after you go out and do those things, don't just sit on your phone. I mean, if you are, that's fine, but at least like research what's going on, what's happening in the local elections, what's happening in, you know, Fort Myers or Naples or Benita, Immokalee. Like, I think it's critical now more than ever to like read more about what's happening in our local environments, but not just in a way that is through posts that are happening from other folks, but like really dive into like what's going on and check your resources, you know, find a few different articles that are talking about the same topic and like really see it from a holistic viewpoint. So when you are out there on the ground trying to make change happen, you're one of those educated, you know, members of our community that can be like, well, let's talk about this and let's see what we can do to make that big change. It's so crucial. I appreciate that.
I love this topic too, because I had a friend one time who was just a very, I would say positive person, but almost oblivious to the world positive. And anything that was negative in the world was bad. I don't want to think about it because it's negative. So why would I think about it? And you know, it was kind of like that member stage, but with rainbows and butterflies around them. And so, you know, a tangential question for the group here is, you know, how do you be community engaged? How do you be engaged in your community and the issues of your community, but also not always feeling like the world is this horrible, awful place. Like I remember my friend being like, I just don't want to live feeling like everything is awful all the time. Like that's an awful way to live. And it kind of comes back into my head a lot, given the work that we do and the office that we are. And, you know, it's like, to Roberto's point, like you need to be informed and you need to know what's happening. And so you should, you know, one of the first steps of community engagement is that awareness of what's going on. So what do you guys think about that? Can you be engaged in your community and not in a sense of everything is awful?
Yeah, I think one of the things is that famous phrase, self-care. Definitely realizing that, yes, we have a job to do. Yes, things aren't the way they should be, and we're going to work towards that. However, burning ourselves out is not going to help anybody. A wounded soldier cannot help anybody. So it's just knowing when to withdraw and rejuvenate and hydrate yourself with just the goodness that this planet has to offer, and knowing when to say, all right, I feel good, let me recommit myself to service and recommit myself to the issues, because we have a lot of work to do. That's just the fact of the matter.
Do you think you can do community engagement work and not be diving into negative things? So what you mentioned, I kind of get from that, like you pull back and recharge, and then you go back into the battle. But can you be in it and not in a battle?
I think that it is, in my estimation, it's impossible to really face the issues honestly and not feel the weight of it and not feel the burden of it. The battle, like you said, you have to face the battle. You have to feel the hardships that come along with service. You know, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be necessarily fun. It's not going to be pleasant all the time. So I think there is a degree of accepting that this is a hard thing to digest. And like I said, knowing when to pull away when it does become overwhelming or too much, that's critical. Just that, having that balance.
Thanks for going down the tangent with me.
And just as Chantel said, that it's okay to be tired. You know what I'm saying? We all just can't be tired at the same time. Because if we all get tired at the same time, then of course everything just continues to build up. But take a break, unwind, relax. Like, yes, the negative is always going to, like, negativity is always going to be there. But that just, I don't know, to me, I look at it as a challenge. Like, so while I'm unwinding, I'm probably thinking like, okay, what can I do differently? You know, what should I do while I'm relaxing? So once again, it's okay to be tired, but we don't just can.
Here's maybe another, as you're talking, I'm like thinking back on conversations I've had, not just with that friend, but others, of like, does community engagement always mean change? but you're always trying to change something?
I would personally say no. Going back to that Band-Aid, that bandage theory, that it's okay to put a Band-Aid on it because you can't solve everyone's problem, but just doing your part and doing enough sometimes is what we can do. So that's my answer. I would like to hear everybody else's thought on that.
I think I would use the word improvement. To some degree, the engagement is going to happen whether we improve ourselves through that engagement or whether we actually see the changes. And I think once you put your heart into it and you learn how to engage communities and issues skillfully, I think there will be a degree of change or improvement, even if it is slow and over time. We may not see it, like Martin Luther King said. He said, I may not even get a chance to see all of the things that I envision in this dream that I have. I may not get to see it, but look at us here today. So I think, in my opinion, it is change, because change is inevitable, it's constant. So when the work is being done, I think it will lead to change and improvement.
I was just going to say earlier to the previous question that we're not machines and we all need to take time for ourselves. So I would really emphasize the self-care thing, because we can't fix everything as an individual, as ourselves. We have, like, fixing issues in society is going to be a team effort. So what work you're doing is helping. It's a contribution, but you're not going to be able to put that all on yourself and just keep going and going and going. You got to take a break and relax sometimes and recharge. I would agree with that 100%.
I would just add with the idea of the Band-Aid. I love the idea of the Band-Aid. I love when Jess talks about the Band-Aid also. I feel like a Band-Aid is a change though, right? Because like if you think about the ways in which those people were being affected by whatever the issue may have been, if you put a Band-Aid on it, that's a change. It may not be a root change, right? We're not getting to the root of the problem, but there is in some way going to be a change. Maybe it's not permanent, maybe it's for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, whatever it may be, but there is a change that's happening in hopes of maybe one day getting to that root change, right? And that gives that person, that community, an opportunity to see another day, to be able to continue to advocate on behalf of themselves or find other people who feel passionate and galvanize individuals. And with regards to, I feel like it's a privilege to be able to step away from these issues, right? I can step away. There are people who are living these issues day in, day out, 24 hours, right? So yeah, we definitely have to self-care and make sure that we're re-energized to be able to go back into whatever space it may be in order to try to fix these issues. But also acknowledging, like, yeah, ignorance is bliss. Wouldn't it be great if none of us knew what was going on and we were all unaffected and we're just like going day to day, let me go get my Starbucks and all the plastic and let me
in the issue, unless you're the person living in the issue, and then
exactly
it's not bliss, because
exactly. So I mean, it's a privilege to be able to be like, I'm unaffected. I don't care. I don't want to know all the negative stuff, right? I wish I could do that. I can't do that. Once you see the issue, you can't look away. Now you have to do something.
Dieon, I see the wheels turning.
Yeah, and yeah. Yes, I think a lot of the conversations in terms of let's go back to what Chantel was talking about earlier, and I'm thinking about my experience doing civic work, and I think also being realistic with yourself, and knowing that you as an individual have to listen to yourself. But in the terms of self-care, I think it also comes in the form of knowing what you are best and most capable of contributing. In the past, I'm generally pretty quiet. So the idea that I used to picked up a megaphone and like picketed and screamed at people. Yeah, it was like a challenge, and it threw me out of my comfort zone. But I think knowing that not everyone can be or should even be that person with a megaphone. Knowing that there are several people in different roles, just kind of like service in general. You get to try on different hats, whether it's in one field or another. And even once you get inside of a specific field, you're also able to try on different hats in that field too. And I think that goes a long way for self-care and sustainability from like a personal perspective. And I think your question about does all like civic work have to be change driven? I think a lot of it inherently is. I think that change can also come in the form of like building a base, whether it's, I think I saw like comments, or not comments, like postings about like chalkboard stuff happening at FGCU, or it's like, I believe FGCU is, or I can FGCU because. And I think that's also civic work, because once you start to develop individuals within a community, then you're sort of growing a base saying, okay, we've all agreed that we're kind of in this together. There's this problem over here. We should all maybe go deal with it. So I think that there's civic work can come in very different forms. But I think with the goal of change inevitably coming from it, I think is probably the, I guess the umbrella that I see civic service operating under.
So I have to ask, like, I mean, so many great answers have hit this point of like engage the community. But and we here at the university are requiring it, hopefully it's an opportunity more than that. But we are asking students to go out and engage in the community. So this last question is about your advice, and I'm gonna ask, I think, a few questions of the different type of advice you give, but the first one I'd like to ask is, what kind of advice would you give students that are entering communities that they might not be identifying in, or might not be their own community? What advice would you give them leading up to them going out and getting engaged?
I would say listen. Like, don't just go in there thinking you know everything, that you know what the right answer is. You just need to go in there and do some active listening. I would start from there.
Yeah, I would echo those comments. Don't go in expecting to know everything about everything, all right? Go in there, as Autumn was mentioning, as an active listener. Make sure you're asking questions. Make sure you're absorbing as much information as you can. Ask them what they need. It's like a mind-blowing question. If you actually ask someone what they need, they will be able to articulate what they need. So I think that's incredibly important when going into any space, to make sure that you are listening, that you are asking questions, and that you are being as mindful of the space that you're taking up in those spaces. But yeah.
I agree with all of those answers. Another thing that I would add to that is knowing that part of your role as a servant is to empower those who may feel marginalized or whose voices aren't being echoed. And that goes along with listening and learning and knowing where the issues are, as everyone has mentioned. But just know that your role is, once you leave, talking about sustainability. Does that group know how to access certain services? Do they know where to go to empower themselves? Do they know how to prepare themselves, who to contact, who to challenge on certain issues? So just knowing that part of your work is to make sure you're uplifting the people in those communities and their voices.
All great answers. I think everyone has hit everything. To kind of piggyback off of what everyone said, do your research. One thing that J. Ray and I did while we were teaching class was she made the students go out and visit. So whether it's saying, hey, I've seen your organization, I'm thinking about conducting some service with me and my peers. Can we come out and visit the facilities? Can we come out and talk to someone? Just kind of get a feel of what you're going into. So do your own research, and I would always encourage to visit the place, whether it be online or if you can get an in-person tour.
Yeah, and even piggybacking on what everyone has said, I think a lot of that work is really just like really person and like, oh, I want you to be my friend, but I'm going to dictate everything that this friendship is going to be about right now. Like, that's not how friendships work or relationships work. And if it was as easy as walking in and like saying you have all the answers, like the problem would have been solved like eons ago. So I think like trusting the community that you're entering, and listening and like building that relationship. It's not going to be done in the first day or two. It takes time, and it is a sustained process. So I think just going into it with the goal of building relationships and working like cohesively and solving those issues.
Another thing that you just reminded me of, Dieon, is Professor AJ, the one from the class. He used to say to be consistent, like just kind of like you said, like it's not a one-time thing. You have to continually show up for the people that you're saying you care about. Yeah, and building relationships. Yeah, that was an awesome point too.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And to Adam's point, I also took that class with Professor AJ. And one of his points was, you know, if you're not thoughtful in terms of that interaction, and if you're not consistent, like Adam was saying, it could potentially be more harmful than it is beneficial. And so it's important to like be that person that's going into the space, really listening to what the community members need. So thank you for your advice. And just for more advice, if we have students that have already finished their hours, but they're still here at the university, do you have any advice for them in terms of what they can do next and how they can maybe, you know, like how do you start developing that like civic self outside of just that requirement that we're asking them to do?
I would say just keep swimming. Just kidding. Just keep doing it. Doing service work. I mean, like obviously make time for yourself, don't overload yourself, but keep doing service work when you can, explore new opportunities, continue with what you've done. It opens up a lot of doors and you gain, and like those doors can be like new knowledge, new friends, new mentors, and it can just be opportunities to work on new awesome projects or just, you know, continue. Anyway, I would just say, keep doing it. It's a great thing. And it's gonna, what you do and the opportunities that you have now, like you won't have as many of them after you graduate, but knowing about them now will help keep those doors open for later, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in and echo a lot of what you just said. Do it, don't stop. We all have the opportunity to grow and to better understand the issues around us. And you may be someone who's more like on the left side of the active citizen continuum, right? And you may have done a really good job at asking like, what? But if you have the potential to dig deep, we all have the potential to dig deeper and start asking, so what? And now what, right? Finding a mentor, it's incredibly important. Someone you see eye to eye with when it comes to different issues. And I'm always happy to chat with students. So if you all feel like, hey, maybe we can chat about something, happy to chat with you all. And, you know, keep serving. It's a mutually beneficial experience and it will undoubtedly impress future employers too. So it's a win-win. You're giving something, you're getting something. It's reciprocal. You know, we're all in this together. Everything is connected. So just keep doing it. Get your hours, get more hours. You might apply for that wonderful SOL, right? So just keep going, keep doing it.
I agree, just keep swimming. I love that so much. I know one of the things, and I love FGCU for requiring service learning because I think it is important because we know, well, a couple of you may not know, but once you graduate and you get a regular job and you get bogged down with life and all of the responsibilities, service does have to, sometimes it does get pushed to the back burner a little bit. But I think once we really internalize and realize that we are the ones we've been waiting for. There is no savior. We are the everyday heroes in our communities, in our families. And once you realize that, you will look around you. I saw a shirt the other day that said, if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. Find something to get angry about because there's plenty to get angry about, and that can be your area of service or your area of interest. So just keep swimming. Yeah.
Nike, Disney, if you're paying attention to this Zoom meeting, please sponsor us at this point. But to answer the question, stay involved. Three out of 5 of us attended FGCU. We either have some ties, whether it be with the alumni office or the individuals on campus. But these are going to be individuals who's going to call on you to come out and speak or to share your advice. So for us, and Autumn and Chantel as well, I think for us, passion just never dies. Like, it doesn't matter, even after you graduate, your passion won't die. So if you're passionate about something, there's going to be somewhere to get involved. Once again, take care of yourself, but just know that your alumni needs you, the students need you, the future generation needs you. So just remember that as well.
And if you can somehow fold your passion into your work, that's like a beautiful crux of those things. Because I mean, I ended up going to graduate school, and it sounds like Autumn is doing literally what I would suggest for you to do, is to fold in your passion into every assignment you do, every paper you write, every project, like every little thing. If you end up in a profession that it's kind of difficult to do that, then you might have to get a bit more creative with it. But I do think that there's always a way to fold in your passion into the work that you do.
Yeah, and I love that comment too, because a lot of students don't necessarily put the two together. They're like, oh, I'm really passionate about animals, but I plan to be an accountant. Well, there are accountants that are needed at the Humane Society, or pick your large animal organization, and they all need accountants. So there's certainly ways to put the two together and to marry your passions and your career path. So that's great. Jessi, did you have another advice question?
No, I was just going to open it up to any advice. But do you have anything else, Justin?
Well, one of the things that as we kind of build off of that and slowly wind down our conversation here, where do you see the importance of, especially the season we're in, the importance of community engagement through voting and being an educated citizen? Where has that lived up for you, and how do you see that helping be a way for people to live out what they're passionate about?
So if I'm understanding the question right, I think that doing service work is educational in a way, and you can see how the work you're doing intersects with politics and policies and politicians and law. And so when you do service work, you're educating yourself about an issue in a way, and you can see who you're voting for, how they care about those issues. So I think I am understanding the question in that way. And so then you can see the importance of voting, because you can directly impact those issues by the politicians you choose, who are going to make laws concerning those issues.
I'm going to take the time to say this. Like, if you're an immigrant or have immigrant parents, use your talents. I know there's a lot of people that might say, like, well, I don't read English, I can't speak English that well. I'm not even going to go out, I'm not even going to read the paper because I can't do it. So I would encourage any student who's bilingual, trilingual, they can speak 50 languages, cool. But go out and use your talents, whether it be at the polls or within your own families, and saying, hey, I'll sit down with you and I'll walk you through the process. So using your talents.
Going back to what I mentioned earlier about empowerment, right? Voting is one of the ways that we can own it ourselves. Now, can we dictate what the ultimate outcome will be? No. But as Autumn mentioned, it is a form of just spreading that knowledge and spreading the fire that you do have, or the wealth of knowledge you do have about a topic like voting. Just going out and pushing that message and trying to energize other people and get them to understand this is your life, this is your right. This is how you take control of your community and what's going on around you. So I'm thinking, again, so hopefully I'm on the right track, Justin, with that question, but that's what I have to contribute to it.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. and part of my question builds from students that we talk with here, students all across the country who feel like, well, my one vote doesn't matter, or, you know, they have voted in the past, but their person didn't win or their platform didn't win. And so what did it matter? Was my vote worth it? And, you know, I think as individuals that are all engaged in deep-rooted community engagement work or service-based activities, you know, we've talked about it here. We believe in change. And I guess then my question reiterated in another form is, you know, do you think that change is really possible through an electoral means that's available to us as citizens? And if so, why do you believe that?
I think voter suppression is real and it manifests in different forms, such as telling people, hey, your one vote doesn't count. But this year we're actually on the centennial of women being allowed to vote in this country. So when you look at the vote throughout time and African Americans not being allowed to vote, if it really wasn't that serious or if your vote really didn't count, then why was there so much of a struggle to push for equal rights so that people can have an access and an ability to vote? And ultimately, the bigger question is whether you believe that your one vote makes a difference or not. Does it cost you that much to fill out a mail-in ballot or just travel to your right up the street to the little polling place, which is probably empty, and they have hand sanitizer because of COVID? So will it cost you a lot? Hey, just go ahead and do it. That's what I say.
Yes. I love that.
I would definitely agree. Like, make use of your vote because votes do matter. Like every vote matters. Well, that's not weird. But anyway, but I want to also say, like, you could tie in service with voting because you can. So there is voter suppression, right? And there's different inequities and inequalities that cause issues with allowing everybody to have their voices heard through a vote. So you could do service work that contributes to changing that and recognize some of those issues, but also use your own vote if you have it to vote and help make a difference.
Yeah, you all are making awesome points. Y'all vote, please vote, okay? You know, talking about change. If you like the change that's been going on, then vote for that change. If you don't like what's going on and you want other change, then vote for that change. If your candidate didn't win, it's okay. You still like voted for that person. You said, hey, I am a person. I believe in this platform. I am going to vote for this person. That is a vote that's going to be in the history of humanity for the rest of forever. That is big. That is huge. You need to vote. You have to vote. Please vote.
I love that. We need that recorded and just on the website. Just that whole thing.
Yeah, like I've gone to so many SEC basketball games that we didn't win. Just because we didn't win, it's not like I stopped being a fan after that. So I mean, yeah, it's like literally just do it. And even like, I don't know, I feel like it's interesting because politics growing up for me always was like a taboo thing. Like you're not supposed to talk politics. Like you're on a first date, that's bad, that's bad. So like, I don't know. I think it's also it's only weird because someone decided it was weird and they were uncomfortable. Like I've been under the mantra of it's okay to make things a little weird because like in general our whole existence has been like kind of awkward. So I think having these conversations about politics, any awkward conversation about politics is better than no conversation about politics. So especially in this season, whether it's awkwardly talking about it with your parents, that I know I'm going to have this conversation at Thanksgiving, but like it's better to have those conversations than to fully ignore it and say like, oh, I didn't vote because I didn't want to have this conversation. Yeah, just do it.
Dieon, I didn't know you weren't supposed to talk about politics on a first date, but now everything's clicking and making sense in my mind. But also, I just wanted to add, y'all, calling your Congress people is so easy. There are so many different websites that give you scripts depending on how you feel about a certain issue. And calling your congressperson takes all of maybe 1 minute, and typically you leave a voicemail. Like, do it. It's so important. That's another way that you can have your voice heard.
And in the day and age that we're living in, if I can't talk to you about politics on the first date, then we're not meant to be together. I don't want to. This won't work out.
And I mean, just a student government plug, like we get funding from everyone voting and things like that. So like, whether it be your organization or your community, like if it's for religious beliefs, okay, but regardless of the fact, you're still gonna have to advocate. So go.
This is great.
Well, unless there's any other last comments, we're gonna get wrapped up. So start wrapping everything up. But I want to thank you all again for coming on today and sharing your experience, sharing your thoughts and stuff. I appreciate it and value it so much. Really, thank you.
Yeah, and it's a perfect way to celebrate all of our students who have devoted so much of themselves already to service and engaging in their communities. It's a perfect platform. This recording should hopefully live on for a very, very long time to showcase to students the past, present, and future impacts for them as students, but then also for the community, and even then providing them guidance as to where do I go next and what do I do, whether they're lost and not sure what they're passionate about yet, or whether they're down a rabbit hole that they feel really great about, but they don't know where to go from here. No matter where they're at, I know that they're really going to benefit from this. So thank you for your time and your experiences. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. All right. Well, with that said, I think we'll wrap it up and say happy Soaring with Service Fall 2020. And thank you all. Take care.
Hi, everyone. Hello. So thank you again for watching the panel. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. They hit on so many really key and important parts, not only the benefits of engaging with our community, but also the benefits of going out and voting. How can we stay engaged? What are those passion areas that we care so much about? And then where can we move forward with that? So now that we've heard from current students, past students, community partners, we really want to highlight current students that are doing great things in different areas on campus. So I am going to show you our homepage for the Soaring with Service event. This was created for you. This was so we could share your accomplishments, talk about the service that has been done in the community, and really, really gather around that. So this is the celebration. We are going to jump into congratulating some of our key students that have done incredible work and throughout their time. So first that I want to start off with is Marley Ray. She is incredible. She's a first-year student that has completed 92 hours already, right? This is that first semester. She has come into this university embracing service, just like her incredible mom, Jessica Ray, and it's really a beautiful legacy. So we can't celebrate her enough and congratulate her enough. So Marley Ray is a sports management major. She has served mainly with FGC Athletics and the Office of Service Learning and Civic Engagement sponsor days like Week of Welcome and Make a Difference Day. She loves serving her school and community because serving others is such a fulfilling experience. To her, service is a two-way street. Knowing that she is doing her part to better the lives of people around her has made such an impact on her life as well. She is always gaining new knowledge and experiences, and it is always so rewarding to have taken part in something bigger than herself. Awesome. Thank you so much, Marley. You really have embodied what the school is trying to get students to do, and that's service and really caring for not only the FGCU community, but the community outside of that. So congratulations. Woo! And the next student that we're gonna highlight and talk about now is Marina Scanpolor. So sorry about that. Love that name. It's beautiful. She is a first-time in college student, and so far she has completed 211 service learning hours. That's incredible. So Marina is a health science major with a chemistry minor here at FGCU. During her time as an Eagle so far, she's had an opportunity to serve alongside the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, Lovers Key State Park, and a member of the Zuni Pueblo course. As a volunteer and community one walk chair for JDRF, I was able to learn more about type 1 diabetes and what is currently being done to advocate those living with chronic conditions. Whereas going to Zuni Pueblo with Dr. Gambino and the honors course, which is an incredible course. I don't know if anyone has heard about it, but they did a lot of really great work in Zuni Pueblo. Over spring break, exposed her to the incredible culture and lifestyle associated with Zuni. Serving has been an integral part of my college education, and we can't wait to see what's next. So shout out to Marina, not only for her work in Southwest Florida and with the Honors College, but also international experience. I think that's a really key and important part of like really getting to know our culture, the different cultures that are around us, but like international service is incredible. So we have an international office here on campus. There's a lot of different study abroad programs that happen through different departments, but we really do encourage that. Alternative Break is done through the Multicultural Leadership Development Office. There's really amazing ways to get involved. And so Marina, like, congratulations. Woo! Excellent job. And thank you so much for your 211 hours that you have done here in the community. So moving on to our top sophomore, Samantha Romero has completed 255 hours of service learning, right? So as a sophomore, she has already completed that amount. And what we're doing here is really just highlighting in each year and category, the students that have made the most out of their service experience. So Samantha Romero is a journalism major and an interdisciplinary studies minor at FGCU. Her service through Eagle Media, community service is incredibly important to her, and she's so glad to be able to complete her service learning through Eagle Media. Eagle Media is a student media group dedicated to providing an inclusive representation of student life for students and representing the diverse voices at FGCU. It is a resource for students to obtain information and express themselves and engage with the campus community. Service learning benefits the community by providing resources to have lasting impacts and in turn acquire life skills and knowledge. She is honored to have the opportunity to share her vision of FGC through her own lens of service. Incredible job. Makes sense that this was a beautiful written, beautiful write-up in terms of your work with Eagle Media. But Samantha, like, congratulations, fantastic job. Thank you as a sophomore here at the university, really taking the way and leading that way for other students. And I really think that this is where, you know, going back to the panelists, like when we think about the passion and how we can embed into our lives the different things that we are passionate about, and that's then how we can be leading in service in our community. Samantha really embodies that. So thank you so much. I mean, congratulations for finding your passion area. And then thank you so much for providing that as a service to our community and the community around us. So the next one up is Sophia Ivanor. She is a junior. She's completed 644 hours of service. 644 hours. Sophia, congratulations. Fantastic job as a junior. So Sophia is a marketing major with a minor in Spanish. She has completed her service learning hours at the Humane Society of Naples. She has been volunteering with them for 2 years. As a volunteer trainer, she gives dogs the training that they need and all the love that she can. She loves to serve at the Humane Society of Naples because she gets to help dogs who come in and are scared and confused and help them begin to trust people again. According to Sophia, there is nothing more rewarding than seeing these dogs make an incredible process in training, opening up to people, and finally walking out of their shelter with their new family, forever family. That is beautiful. Sophia, thank you so much, not only for what you're doing for our campus and leading the way. 644 hours. Yes, you've really embodied this. Like, thank you so much for taking that time and really giving back to the community, and especially the Humane Society of Naples. Like, we couldn't be more proud of you as an FGCU Eagle. So thank you, thank you. And our senior, Daniel Kolfink, has completed 833 hours of service learning. 833 hours. This is incredible. Daniel is a senior majoring in biology with a minor in chemistry. After graduation this year, he hopes to go to medical school and fulfill his dream of becoming a doctor. I mean, you give a lot. So this is like, it makes sense, doctor. That's amazing. Since as long as he can remember, he has always been really interested in helping and giving back to the community. His mom has always made it a point to take his siblings and him to help give back to the local community since they were kids. They would go during the holidays and help at fundraisers to raise money or meals for families that couldn't afford it. Since he has been at FGCU, he has strived to give back to the community in many ways as possible, from being a freshman and being a founding father of the leadership fraternity on campus, to helping the collection of unrecyclable plastics to make eco bricks in order to build a more sustainable furniture for the food forest. But more recently, he has been shadowing the different doctors in hopes in one day becoming 1-2, and coaching the local U19 soccer showcase team. That's incredible. Daniel, fantastic job. Thank you so much for what you're giving back to the FGCU community, the community around us, and good luck. And we know that you're gonna make us Eagles proud. So thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. And so this is here anytime. You can also come out and check the full list of students who have completed their service learning hours. Check to see if your name is here. Every student that is completing has already completed their service learning hours and is tracked in Eagle Career Link. That's an important part. Lots of students do incredible work, but don't track them in the system, and then we won't know if you've completed those or not. So please track your hours in Eagle Career Link. Check out this list, see if your name is on it, and if it is, we have a t-shirt here in the office for you. We are going to be passing out these t-shirts for the next few weeks, so please stay in touch with us. If you are on this list, if your friend's on this list, please check it out. This is our way of celebrating the hard work and dedication that you have done to the campus and the community around us. So thank you so much. We really appreciate everyone's hard work on this, and make sure to check out this full list to see where your name is on that. And this doesn't, you could be first year student, sophomore, junior, senior. If you've completed those 80 hours, the name will be on this list. If you have any questions, you can always let our office know. But heading back to our homepage, there's a few more announcements and awards that I'd like to pass on. This page will live on, from now for forever. So if you ever want to share this with anyone, please do. Lots of great information on our actual office homepage. If you can't get enough of service and you want to serve more, you can sign up for Make a Difference Day. And we also have tons of different opportunities from our community members. They need us now more than ever. But before we finish out, I just want to go through our award winners for the Sustainable Development Goals. I don't know if everyone's heard these, but the Sustainable Development Goals were created by the United Nations, and it's a really holistic way of looking at sustainability. Just like service, sustainability is one of the founding principles of our university. It's the backbone of our university. And we really want to be looking at it in a holistic way that really moves our communities forward to a better future. So our office and the community members that we're working with use the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as a way to kind of figure out what are the social issues that we're tackling that are globally also going after. And so there are 17 of these, everything from no poverty, zero hunger, good health, well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and then the partnership for the goals. So I not only want to highlight this because, we talked about it with the panel, right? We use this, I brought it up before. If you're just jumping in now, I wanted to re-highlight it because it's a really great way to look at what are the passion areas that you care about, and then what is happening on a global scale to make that happen. And it really pulls together all these different movements that are going on in our community, everything from reduced inequalities to climate action to gender equality to quality education, right? There's a lot of intersectionality that can happen between these goals. What we're going to do today is highlight students that have aligned with these goals through their service. So they're going out and serving in the community, and it's impacting these goals in different ways. So to jump back to the Soaring with Service page, I'm just going to highlight our 16 amazing students and clubs that have been doing incredible work. So DROP here is our SDG winner for No Poverty. DROP strives to provide, promotes ideas of global citizenship, stress the importance of community engagement, and fosters a sense of civic responsibility, both locally and abroad. DROP loves to serve because of the impact that they have, not only in the communities that they work with, but their members. They also serve to understand what they do is way bigger than them. I love that. DROP is an incredible, if you haven't heard, they're a club here on campus. They do go to it's the Dominican Republic Outreach Program is what DROP stands for. And so they spend I'm pretty sure their spring break over in the DR. Not only do they do a lot there, but they also serve in lots of different capacities here on campus and in the community. They're already signed up for Make a Difference Day. We love DROP, so congratulations. Thank you so much for all the work that you do for campus, and thank you for making sure that service is always embedded into your organization. So next up, for Zero Hunger, we are celebrating the Student Farm Worker Alliance. So the Student Farm Worker Alliance is a club here on campus, and they partner with the CIW, which is the Coalition of Immokalee Workers. And that's a nonprofit organization and Immokalee that's spreading awareness in the injustices that farm workers face through organizing protests, doing teach-ins at FGCU, and immersing themselves in the Immokalee community through service. The Student Farm Worker Alliance has served in the Immokalee community by playing activities with kids, at different events, and their objective is not only to be a voice for farm workers, but to amplify their voices. So congratulations to the Student Farm Worker Alliance. Thank you so much for everything that you do. It's pretty incredible. And so that is just the first two awards. The next one for good health and well-being is Abigail Peak for her outstanding work with prevention and wellness. She's done a lot for prevention and wellness. You probably have seen her be a peer educator here on campus. Prevention and Wellness is an office here on campus that really provides tons of different services to students. And so Abigail, we want to give you a shout out and thank you so much for the work that you're doing for good health and well-being. Next one up here for quality education is Victor. Victor is working on multiple different things in the community. What is amazing is that Victor has taken this time, everything that's happening with the COVID pandemic, and actually came to our office to talk about different ways that we can set up tutoring. So like everyone else, one of the reasons Victor liked to serve in the community is because there is no better feeling than being able to help those in needs and seeing that you can make an impact. But very most important reason like he likes to serve is because the possibility of being able to inspire others. When people can see that someone like him can make an impact, it might inspire them to do that too. That's an amazing. And I just want to hit on, Victor is really creating this online opportunity for students to, for FGCU students to connect to students in the community to do tutoring after school. We all know that this transition in terms of virtual courses and some students being in the class and out of the class has been hard for families, the students themselves. And so Victor is really trying to create a platform and a connection and a pipeline for students to be able to seek and find help, which is incredible. And that was something that Victor's not an education major. He just sought an opportunity and really wanted to find connections, which is incredible. So congratulations, Victor, for your accomplishments and the Sustainable Development Goal, quality education. So the next one for Sustainable Development Goal number 5 is gender equality, and that goes to the Gender and Sexual Alliance, GSA. So the Gender and Sexual Alliance, GSA, is an amazing club here on campus. We love them. They do amazing support. They're connected to student government. They're connected to lots of work that is happening here on campus, lots of work that is happening in the community. And they really are here to advance the inclusion efforts here on campus. So thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. The next one for SDG number 6 for clean water and sanitation, we'd like to congratulate Andrew Griswold. Andrew has been completing amazing service with Crew Land and Water Trust. Crew Land and Water Trust is a preserve, massive preserve here, 60,000 acres actually, out near Immokalee. And their whole purpose is to make sure that they maintain and preserve that land for our aquifer. So as water collects on our landscape and goes and is cleaned through our natural places like marshes and swamps and other things like that, that then goes into our aquifer, and our aquifer is where we get our drinking water. So Andrew is really tackling this kind of clean water and sanitation issue and a very localized effort here by making sure that the preservation of Cru Land and Water Trust continues on in partnership with that incredible nonprofit. So thank you so much, Andrew. Fantastic job. The next one we are highlighting here is for Sustainable Development Goal 7, which is affordable and clean energy. And we'd like to award this to Colby Brownell for his work with FGCU Sunrise. If you have not seen Colby on campus, he is a huge voice for everything from climate action to sustainable clean energy to sustainable cities. He does a lot of different work here on campus. So something to think and mention is that everything that we're going to be talking about today and the students that we're seeing that they're aligning with this goal. That doesn't mean that they're accomplishing this goal. That doesn't mean that this is the only goal that they work on. A lot of them are probably doing incredible work in multiple different sustainable development goals. But today we're trying to highlight the fact that students are making incredible effort in our community and on campus. So Colby cares deeply about sustainability and has worked in different ways to see FGCU be better on this front. He has been involved with the Sunrise Movement and of course also the Vegan Club and Mindful Living. Colby loves to serve and because he loves to help. He thinks that people need to be helping each other more and more. We are in this together and we face challenges that can only be overcome together. So we need to create unity, peace, love, and gratitude with each other. The issues of sustainability will ask the best of us, and giving any less isn't an option. Thank you so much, Colby. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your work. And I know that you've been recently working with Rachel on her campaign for senator. So thank you for your political engagement as well. So the next student that we are going to be highlighting here is John, and he is aligning with the Sustainable Development Goal 8, which is decent work and economic growth. John built You Belong, which is a social network for people with special needs. He's now working on Purple, which is a mobile bank for families with disabilities. We actually got in contact with John because of his connection with the entrepreneurship school. So it's been incredible to find these different avenues that students are working with, but really finding a passion in doing that as a way to impact the students around us. So congratulations, John. Thank you so much for your work and decent work and economic growth. So Sean, right after him for Sustainable Development Goal number 9, Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure, also has been working with the Entrepreneurship School. Sean is awarded for his work. He says, I am so passionate about what we do here in the entrepreneurship program, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I believe in what we do here, and I want to make sure I do whatever I can to help it grow. So big shout out to our entrepreneurship program. Thank you so much for connecting students to impactful service in our community and here on campus. We couldn't do that without you. So the next Sustainable Development Goal we're highlighting is number 10, which is reduced inequalities. And we really wanted to highlight the Black Student Alliance and their service that they do for on and off campus. If you haven't, follow them on social media, a great club here. They do lots of virtual programs now, but they're also doing, they have done a lot of service here on and off campus. So the next one, number 11, is Sustainable Cities and Communities. And you might know who this is. Autumn was on the panel recently. She is also our Newman Civic Fellow. She does a lot of service here on campus and off campus. She also partners with the Student Farm Worker Alliance in multiple different ways. She also sits on student government. She has served with the FGCU Food Pantry, FGCU Student and Farm Worker Alliance, the Bahamas Relief Collective, and interned with Streets Alive to work on road safety. Also her involvement with SG as the Diversity and Inclusion Committee with faculty, staff, and students in the Coalition for Racial Justice. She loves to serve because, as cheesy as it sounds, it really does make the world a better place. Serving gives you the chance to help make the world a more inclusive place and help alleviate and prevent suffering. She loves doing service at FGCU because it allows her to grow tremendously as a person, and it has allowed her to make a difference in the community in a way that she didn't realize she was able to. That's incredible. Autumn, we love you so much here in this office. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Congratulations and your work with this SDG, Sustainable Cities and Communities. So the next one that we have up is responsible consumption and production. And we are going to be highlighting Kayla Hughes. If you haven't seen her, she's been around campus recently promoting the Sustainable Challenge. It's, I think, the Green Challenge. It's something that the office is partnering with. It's a global challenge, which is incredible, but they're really trying to get students to sign up. It's starting, I think, today, and you can actually do different challenges each day to have a more sustainable future. But Kayla works with the Office of Environmental Health and Safety. During Kayla's first 2 years here at FGCU, she's completed a multitude of service events. Most of her service in the past has been working with Environmental Health and Safety Office on campus. Over the summer at EH&S, she's completed inspections for over 800 storm drains on campus. 800. Kayla? This is all in the office. We're never putting it outside. Glitter is litter. We're going to keep it right here. So sorry about that. Thank you for your work that you're doing on campus. She also said that this is a very important task and she was excited to be a part of it. Now with October, the Sustainability Month coming up, she has moved her work towards a national and sustainable challenge. Environmental Health and Safety is promoting sustainability through Project Green Challenge and inspiring students to make sustainable choices. And so shout out to Project Green Challenge. You can sign up today. It starts October 1st. It runs for the whole month. Lots of fun. She loves serving and volunteering with environmental health and safety and working on a college campus that is trying to get her fellow Eagles to be more environmentally conscious. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kayla. Congratulations. We love all the work that you're doing. Next up is Chaya Boyd and her work with climate action. So Chaya has attended FGCU since 2018. Since coming to FGCU, she has learned to love to serve. It is no longer just a graduation requirement. We love that. Thank you. Thank you. It's become a way for her to make a positive impact in our community about issues that she's passionate about, and specifically in the environment, and she has become aware of the impacts humans have had on climate and natural habitats. Chaya was also nominated through her community partner, which is the Sierra Club. The organizer over there was over the moon about the work that she's been doing. So thank you so much for what you do on campus, but thank you so much for what you're doing off campus and your work towards climate action. So our next one up is Susanna Cogburn. She has been doing work with Life Below Water, the Sustainable Development Goal Life Below Water. As a marine science major, Susanna loves educating others on marine conservation and doing whatever she can to make a difference. Pre-COVID, she had volunteered every weekend with the Rookery Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve, which is out on Marco, where she had taught guests about different organisms in the touch tank and their impact on the environment. Also, she has started a research project at Bester working with mangroves and seeing how the different nutrients in water affect growth and filtration, so we can find a natural solution to water quality issues. Thank you so much for all you're doing for Life Below Water. Like, this is incredible work here on campus and in the community. I love that she's not only impacting Bester Field Station, right, but she's also doing work out on Marco with Rookery Bay. That's incredible work. Our second to last is Alex Marsh for his work with Life on Land. If you haven't heard, Alex Marsh is doing incredible work all over campus. Last week, he just had one of his research papers on snakes in Peru published as an undergraduate student. Love, love, love Alex. He is also working really hard to, next up is vet school for him, but he's done incredible different things on campus, not only for, big thing is snakes, but research on snakes, but also with the Wildlife Club, with the Office of Undergraduate Scholarship as a mentor, has done incredible things. He was also one of the first undergraduate recipients of the John Herman Biodiversity Studies Opportunity Scholarship. And he's been really able to connect with different people through different roles. So Congratulations, Alex. You have done incredible work on campus. He's also one of the big fellows right now through research. He's studied abroad in Peru. He's done a lot of work with the Honors College all around, but we really so much thank you for your work that you do on campus, not only inspiring others to serve, but making sure that we're taking care of our land and the amazing creatures like snakes that are on that. And so our last one, woo, Sustainable Development Goal 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And we are giving our biggest shout out and congratulations to Soul Flowers, an organization here on campus, a club that promotes self-worth and empowerment amongst FGCU's campus and surrounding communities. Soul Flowers' mission is to spread light to help others to grow. They love to serve because they can bridge gaps between individuals. Soul Flowers does a lot of work with the correctional facilities down in Fort Myers. They're really working with young women and do incredible work here and here on campus and off campus. So thank you so much, Soul Flowers, for your work towards peace, justice, and strong institution. And that right there is our awards for today. So we are highlighting 16 incredible students and clubs for the work that they're doing all across the board for sustainability, but also the students that have really made huge accomplishments and waves, not only in their first, second, third, or fourth year here. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining Soaring with Service. If you haven't picked up your t-shirt, come see us. We have the office decorated. We're going to be doing tabling events all across campus. All of that information is here on. If you missed some of this and want to see the rest of it, this video will also be live on YouTube. You can always reach us at servicelearning@ftcu.edu. And we thank you so much for coming out, so much for making service a part of your life and in the community here. And we couldn't have done it without you. And with that, we hope that you have a fantastic day, and thank you.